People who lost their virginity after age 35, or never did. What's your story? Girls think I'm gay and gay people think I'm ugly. I'm sorry, but your username mixed with your comment just made me laugh so damn hard, lol. A very large, very flamboyant gay man was hitting on my straight friend. Trying to deflect the unwanted attention to me, also a hetero male, he said, "What about Ichigai?" The guy locks eyes with me and says straight to my face, "You're too ugly to be gay." I'm still not sure how I feel about that, and it didn't stop the guy from hitting on my friend. LOL. I wondered what depraved sexual practice Ichigai was at first before I noticed it as your username. The internet has ruined me. I had a work colleague who at age 42 is still a virgin. Thing is, she wanted to have sex, she talked about it all the time, she wasn't religious, she didn't want to be married first, she didn't have any reason to not have sex, she just said it just never happened for her, and then as she got older and older it got harder and harder because potential partners thought it was weird. She sounds like a nice lady who really wants and deserves it. I really hope someone comes along one day and, respectfully, fucks her senseless. I was 35. Fat. No self-esteem, the usual story. I had long since given up on actively looking for dates. I was comfortable being single and had made peace with my life. Then I just happened to meet someone on a bus while on vacation and we clicked. Did the semi-long distance thing for a couple months before properly hooking up. The first time was predictably awkward. She knew what she was doing though, and I've since figured things out. Practice makes perfect and whatnot. Eventually she moved in with me and we got married. Still are. It's not a super interesting story or anything, but you asked for it. Your story gives me hope and glad you found her. Edit. Thanks everyone. Smiley face, 42-year-old virgin. Always been an introvert, never got out much, now I fear I've just missed my chance. Edit. Wow, this kinda blew up. For those curious, comments seem to be split pretty evenly between, "You still got time, man. Just put yourself out there and it'll happen." And "Dude, just get a prostitute and get it over with." And yes, I have seen that Steve Carell movie. I work in healthcare and see the entire general population here. If some of the totally unattractive, stupid, racist, etc. patients I interact with have managed to get married and reproduce, you're probably like an 8/10 all things considered just by being even somewhat in shape, and being employed and educated. I'm 40 and still a virgin, something I never thought I'd be freely admitting on the internet to strangers, but there you go. Basically my parents told me from a really young age that I was ugly and weird and no one would want me. Any boy I did get close with, my mom pretty much scared away within a few days, then told everyone it hadn't worked out because I wasn't interested in that sort of thing. To this day I don't know why she did this. Maybe it was a control thing, or she had some kind of hang-up herself, no idea. Of course, people at school picked up on this, especially at primary school since my mother taught at the school I attended, and so made comments about my appearance in front of the other students, who gleefully picked this up as prime bullying material. Anyway, upshot was, that by the time I left home at 18 and went to college, I was convinced myself that I was ugly and weird and no one would want to go near me. I didn't bother taking care of myself or making any effort because I'd always been told there was no point. So it became a vicious circle kind of thing. I'm by no means a beauty, but I realize now I'm not as hideous as everyone made out. Even when I eventually realized that my mom was nuts and I had to be my own person, the damage was kind of done. No matter how much I try to be confident now, there's always that big bit of me that thinks, do I have a right to use a dating app, when really I'm such a waste of space? Or doesn't want to try anything like Tinder or whatever because you need to upload a picture, and a big part of me thinks it'll put people off. People pick up on that lack of confidence when I speak to them IRL, and it puts people off, which then eats away at my self-esteem even more, to the point where I really don't know how to fix this. To make matters worse, I got breast cancer 6 years ago and had to have some pretty extreme reconstruction because of the type of tumor it was and the damage it did, so I'm now covered in scars. The one bit of my body I used to be proud of was my boobs, and now they're completely horrible. I know I've pushed people away, and can think of numerous times when men were hitting on me and I either didn't realize or didn't want to admit it because I was scared I was interpreting things wrongly and would end up making a fool of myself. So I reckon it's self-isolation for me for the foreseeable future. I lost my virginity at 31. I was generally uninterested in dating in my early 20s and spent most of my time smoking pot and playing video games. In my late 20s it became apparent I had no skills trying to attract the opposite sex. I went on and off again trying to meet someone using dating apps, but most women lost interest in me after the first date and the rest after the second or third. I had given up on dating again when my sister set me up on a blind date with someone her husband knew. We surprisingly hit it off. Fast forward a few months and the time comes to do the deed. I was understandably nervous. There are things about sex no amount of porn can prepare you for, namely the smell, taste, and mechanical execution of work that is sex. The first time was awkward, but it got better. I must not have sucked at it as much as it felt like I did because we've been married for 6 months now. The smell was definitely in the top 3 things that surprised me the most. Wow, vaginas smell like that? What the duck does my dick smell like to her? Weirdly, or stupidly, enough, the thing that surprised me the most was how close you had to get to the other person to duck them. I used to be really introverted and it was kind of a shock to me. Christ, I'm literally on top of this person. I mean, I guess I'm inside this person, but I didn't think we would have to be this close. Yeah, I'm probably just dumb.